Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Ace Attorney Investigations. I'm your host Kayla Hiwatari, and today we are going to do the first part of the ending to Turnabout Reminiscence. Let's get started. September 10th, 5:45 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 1. What is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent? It smells like flowers. Uncle Bad, is this it? Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there? It looks like she managed to escape the bailiff. No, that's not quite it. Aw, too bad, but it's so pretty. I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it. Thanks. I'll treasure it always. Those two seem to get along rather well. Oh, here. I've got something else for you. Yay! Thank you, Uncle Bad. Earlier, I ate one of these with Gummy. Gummy? Oh, you mean Gumshoe. Gummy is... He was trying to be nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he had to lie to protect me. Gummy. I know he didn't kill Daddy. Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying. I'm not crying. Okay. Oh, it's the mister from before and the lady too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in the investigation, so it's full of the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant. So I'm related to the investigation. Is that so, Detective Bad? Yeah, I guess. What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why? People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You also had a few things you wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I guess I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into. Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay? Alright, I'm counting on you. Oh, that's right. Hey, mister. Yes, what is it? I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So please, find the real bad guy, okay? I won't forgive whoever did this. In the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. She wandered off while I was pondering. Pondering aside, I need to look around. Detective Bad, what do you know? Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy. Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay? It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste. It sounds sounds like he'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again. I don't have anything to say to you. Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is the overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate. That ultra-strong perfume Yu wears, she spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window, but that smell is still here. Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent in the air is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand. She said it's a famous brand from overseas. It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff. No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it. I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail. Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? Perfume data added in the organizer. So now we have the perfume Miss Yu wears. Just fantastic. Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating. Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about. First topic, during the recess. So you were in this room the entire recess. Like I said. I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here. At least your story is consistent. Earlier you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu. Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe arrived, you and Miss Yu were in two different locations. Guess I am. Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you. Ugh. Let's see, Miss Yu is the sister of the victim of the KG-8 incident. And as I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on that case. I wonder if the reasons for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cece, but because you were the lead detective on that case. You knew? I also know that today's trial, involving the Cadopian Embassy staff member, is being referred to as the second KG-8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me, and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday, and the KG-8 incident. If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG-8 incident. It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who are directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth behind the KG-8 incident? Faraday, you and I. As you already know, we three were involved with the KG-8 incident. Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Mono Group's secretaries? That trial was just a front. A facade? Yeah. But the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed. Then what became of the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Deveray. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Deveray was probably being intimidated by the big boss man, just another scapegoat. The boss man of the Amano group? He can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling? I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Cochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Cece, I was supposed to protect them both. Miss, you did mention that as well. About how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister. But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap.
What kind of a trap?
The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap. You mean you were fired upon?
You were shot at that many times in one gunfight?
No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG8 incident. I see. I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu. About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day the verdict of the KG8 incident was handed down, was it not? Yes. Faraday and we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face.
Well, she certainly has a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes could be punishment enough.
I suppose not. You said it herself, that she never wanted to see either of us ever again. But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct? Yeah, Faraday and even after the KG8 incident had come to a close. We continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring. Is the ring really that big? It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial, related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending him. Yeah. Was pursuing the ring as best she could as a lawyer. I think she defended well this time for the same reason. Come to think of it, Miss Yu did say something to the same effect. I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG8 incident, alright? And for that you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer? Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rell was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him, ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. It doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable. You're so naive, little girl. Little, don't call me little. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are. How dare you insult the daughter of a Von Karma? Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman. You two are still too young, but one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again, in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all. So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together. But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case. Did we touch a nerve? I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial. To prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either. I sense that there is more to that statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me? What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel. I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu. What? The KG8 incident and the second KG8 incident, both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And in both of these cases, the witness, who was to testify about the ring, was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be the Yatagarasu. However, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then, during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already! I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time. A reason, huh? And so, in order to catch Mr. Faraday's and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu. If it will help you solve this case. And I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu.
What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident. Here, Miles, take that. Ugh.
It still accidentally whipped me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu has always been one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits.
Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief.
The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as low-brow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away.
But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't.
Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet. Not little. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Cadopian embassy. The Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence. Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others, knew about. In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it? That's easy. A special card that only Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure. And just what sort of card is it? Here, take a look at this article. Whenever Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. And that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Tuh. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Huh? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself. And to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. September 10th, District Court, Courtroom Number 3. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that His Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand the witness stand. I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony.
Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict.
Francisca, there is no need to further depress His Honor.
But I'm not trying to, Miles.
Your Honor. Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence. Your Honor! Oh, yes, can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir.
Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job?
Yes, I'm sorry. I would accept that the defense attorney has yet to arrive. She is busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rowe are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case. Understood, Your Honor. The pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case. And maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth. I've placed all of the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench for you. I see. Thank you very much. I will go and confirm that they are all accounted for. So this is the evidence related to today's Cappadopian Embassy trial from Mr. Faraday's bag.
You mean the evidence bag that was on the table in the lobby number 2, right?
Yes. Finally, we can now take a look at the evidence itself, and not just data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time.
Agreed. I want to take a good look at all of the evidence from the embassy murder too.
And why is that?
Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about.
Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something.
And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today.
I see someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma.
It's also real to see the knife up close.
So we have the knife, the gun, an envelope, and what's this organizer doing here? Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation. Detective Bad said that.
What a strange stroke of luck.
Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. We might as well flip through it, too. Alright, time to poke around the evidence. Start with the book. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it.
It looked like he wrote a strategy for getting Mr. Rowe convicted down in here.
I've collected the evidence I need to prove that Rowe was the killer. Between the handgun Rowe had on him when he was arrested and the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rowe was the killer in this case. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity in the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Rowe is not the real Yutagarasu. It would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rowe was not the Yutagarasu. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I have the Yutagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long while. I hope that this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared. To discredit any claim Mr. Rel may have made about being the real Yatagarasu, and he had a way to prove that Mr. Rel was the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. Organizer data jotted down. Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here. It appears to be a key. And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. Craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? The Yatagarasu's key? Detective Bad said something earlier. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Cadopian embassy, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this secret key safe. As a prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. Key data jotted down. Okay, what's next? Let's do the knife. So this is the knife, yep. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? And it's never crossed your mind that you use your briding crop for the wrong purpose? That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rel. That's the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose the knife ended up inside the courthouse? I need to think carefully here. There is nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another good look at the evidence. Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer, Francisca. What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse. This Yatagarasu's key. Mr. Faraday mentions it in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look a bit closer, Francisca, to see what I mean. Don't the color and ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything?
They do remind me of the knife.
Very good. Both the Itagarasu's key in the photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Itagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife.
You don't seriously mean to say...
It appears that you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are, in fact, one and the same.
But that's impossible!
Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine this knife in a little more detail. Alrighty. Well, there's blood on it, but that's to be expected.
I can't believe it turned into a key. To think that there was such a trick to the thing.
So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Itagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. Itagarasu key data updated in my organizer.
Frankly, I'm shocked.
Mr. Faraday only mentions the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a knife blade inside.
But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key to knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday.
Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief Yatagarasu.
Then maybe Mr. Rell really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario?
No, not really. Especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier, that when we questioned Rell about what was sent along with the white card, Rell had no idea what it was.
I see. Alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Itagarasu.
It seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Knife data updated. I took a quick look through these documents before the trial started.
Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it.
I suppose I should explain it to you then.
Yes, you should. Perfectly and in its entirety, if you please.
On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Mac Robe was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned. Because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot.
A simpleton of a man, that's what he was.
Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rowe was caught in the act, on film by a security camera.
He was an even bigger simpleton than I'd thought. I can't believe he didn't notice a security camera. What a foolish fool.
The Cadopian Embassy's security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area.
So have you seen the contents of the video for yourself?
Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rell on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear.
So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life.
Me neither. So that's all for those documents. Now the last piece we have is the gun itself. This gun. It was originally used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, responding police found Mr. Rell still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest.
And then this gun took the original shooter's life? How ironic.
Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court.
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
The video showing the moment in which Mr. Rell committed the murder. Where could it have gone? Indeed. Are you done with your inspection of the evidence? Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I am missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence.
Your Honor, will you derelict in your duties?
What? No, I dare not. Look at my duties. What do you take me for? No, Your Honor. The most important piece of evidence in today's trial. The surveillance video is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene. There's something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I'll have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime. Defendant lobby number 2. September 10th, 6 p.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 2. The scene of the crime. That's Detective Bad, but who is he with?
I've never seen that officer before.
So, did you find it? No, not yet, and I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. So you're the one running the show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? Well, that is a young detective, or Agent Lang. Agent Shilong Lang. Cool to see a young version of him. What was that all about? And who was that man just now?
Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life.
Does he even know that we're standing right here behind him? I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids?
It looks like you were paying attention after all.
Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head. So that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now? The guy came here from the Republic of Zhangfa to study. He's Agent Lang. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch. By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication. He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude.
Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time.
I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad?
Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well.
Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you. I highly doubt that. It has nothing to do with me. Duh. Fine, if this is the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him. Earlier you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You are quite the busy man, Detective Bad. Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say. I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct? I don't have anything left to say to you, boy. Duh. Boy? I will draw my answer from you one way or another.
Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation?
I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think? Please, we're asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation. Don't push me, kid. I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime. I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about?
Things you don't know about? But aren't you supposed to know everything?
He should. Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Well, let's show him the key. Photo of key. Turns into knife. Detective Bad. Did you know the existence of the item in this photograph? Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Itagarasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu's key are one and the same? What? That's impossible.
It looks like you didn't know after all.
This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Rell was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct? I guess so. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was, in fact, a knife. Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this? I noticed that since a little while ago, you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for. Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it? Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life? Detective Bad. So that we may find the truth, please testify for me once more. Alright. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change. Okay. Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1. My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this. That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up and find the truth behind this case. Detective Bad's movements. I was in lobby number 1 talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed down to the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2. It sounds like the exact same story he told us before. Indeed. However, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information that we can. Rebuttal time! Let's do this! Pressing everything. Why did Miss Yu choose lobby number 1? Answer me! Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into lobby number 1 together, that's all. So his answer remains the same as before, I see. Not much there. I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu. Trivial stuff. It was nothing important. That's for me to decide. Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then. Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary? I didn't hear any other strange sounds. Until that gunshot. If the gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the murder, that would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now. Sure. I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. Well, I think the judge's testimony would have to differ. Pink balloon around. Isn't that what I use? Yeah, it's probably the balloon. Yep. Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same color as the one Kay was holding. Oh, so you knew about that girl's balloon? Yeah. I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you might remember hearing the balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, It was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot. Oh. So the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh?
On top of that, His Honor said that he heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene.
Yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway. When you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad, and if you were in lobby number 1 at that time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So? What? Don't give me a so.
We just proved that there's a flaw in your testimony.
The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivety cracking. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Have you ever stopped to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked.
Hold it! What is that supposed to mean?
The doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material. Then you mean... Since I was shut up inside lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound.
No!
I knew that's what he was going to say.
Then that means that Scruffy-Face's testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course he wouldn't hear any sign of a struggle.
No. That's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now, do you get it, kids?
Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic, not the other way around.
The other way around. It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping when we're in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, a person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet, Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it when he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bad, if that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean, how? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. Oh, how so? If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears? I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought.
Which means what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it all boil down to?
It boils down to this. There must be a reason. As to how Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot, they theoretically couldn't have.
It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh?
The state of the crime scene. Wait, can it be? It's that ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. And way too noisy.
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
Logic time! Yeah. Lobby number 2 window. I want... There we go. There we go. The windows are connected. It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows. And yet the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open barred windows. So, that goes into loud television. Open windows. Now then, what else besides the smell can go both in and out of an open, barred window? The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of the gunshot could be heard in both locations. Some evidence, and gunshot could be heard. Ta-da! We did it! That's the last piece of logic. The missing piece of evidence is a video that shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess, and brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place.
Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again.
It's not a waste of time to think, for I've figured out where we should look.
And where would that be?
I believe we should examine the television.
The TV.
The TV. Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like. Begin investigation. Defendant lobby number 2. Won't rest until I've inspected every single nook and cranny. TV. Earlier when Detective Gumshoe touched this, it made a most terrible racket.
You mean when Scruffy turns the television on, right?
Actually, come to think of it, I don't think Detective Gumshoe actually touched the television at all. Furthermore, it seemed more like when a video feed suddenly stops. At least it did to me.
I wonder why that is.
It's a video player. There seems to be a videotape inside.
It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end.
This tape, could it not be the missing surveillance tape?
I suppose, but...
Detective Bad, would it be alright with you if I verified the contents of this video? Sure. Knock yourself out.
Alright, then let's rewind this and see what we have.
If I remember correctly, the footage of Rell killing the embassy staff member should be at about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. Understood. This should be about right. Now then, let's see.
This is the footage of Mr. Rell shooting the embassy staff member.
I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. Video added down in the organizer. The sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder.
Do you mean that you figured it all out then?
Yes. All I have to do now is show what the gunshot detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was. And through where they heard it from.
Fine, in that case, show me what you've deduced.
Now to show that the gunshot detective Bads and Gumshoe heard was. And through where they heard it from. Won't rest until I've suspected every suspicious nook and cranny. Let's see, is this spot related? Video of the embassy staff member's murder, gunshot are especially impactful. If the door and windows to the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser.
That's true. This courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, if as it were.
However, what happened in reality was Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot.
Well, the windows in lobby number 1, number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it.
But then why would the criminal open the windows in the first place?
To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose.
Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this.
But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction.
Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of? The time when the crime took place. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes. And they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so.
So that's why the tape was left running.
You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video? Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period. And planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. Investigation complete! Yeah! Mr. Edgeworth! Yes, what is it? Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something.
It looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something.
Understood. Please tell her that I will be right over. Oh, come along. I want to hear what she has to say. It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. To be continued for another time. That was pretty good. Anyway, that's all for now. I'm yours, Kayla Hiwatari. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. And we'll keep going with the ending of Case 4 next time. I'll see you then.